What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Today I've got for you just one story originally posted on r/relationship advice, but there is a key update to come in this one, which makes it even more juicy. I'll set the scene a little bit. This girl has been dating a guy for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. They've been on a few days. However, already a big red flag has come up. This guy's best friend is a female, but not only that, it's one of his exes. Without further ado, sit back, relax, drop a like on this one, and subscribe to my channel if you do go on to enjoy this story. Let's get into it. I broke up with a guy because his best friend is a female. So I started seeing this new guy, Beck, a couple of weeks ago. I'd known him for a while before we began dating. He's really sweet and awesome, and the first 3 dates we went on went amazingly, and I really enjoyed being with him. Here's the problem. He has a very close friend, Kim, who seems to constantly be in the picture. During date number 4, he talked about her a lot. Like, a lot. She was somehow the topic of every conversation. And when I would try to change topics, he'd always find his way drifting back to a memory the two of them shared together. Granted, they grew up together and also dated at some point, so it would make sense that they would have a lot of memories and chemistry. He also began telling me the trip the two of them are planning to take, how they were taking her car, staying at her family's house, etc. I tried to ignore it at first and just let it go, because I too have a close friend of the opposite sex, but we never do anything like what they do. Our relationship is platonic, and the most we ever do is play Xbox together. I asked him to be my date to my brother's wedding since I had a +1. This was after about 2 weeks of dating. And he declined, saying he'd already made plans on that day to go bowling with some friends. But after I spoke with a mutual friend of ours, I found out she was going to be there and that they had set it up together. I was thinking of it for a while, but the more I thought of it, the more it bugged me. So on our last day, I said I didn't want to pursue a relationship anymore. He was confused because I'd been acting normal up until this point. He asked me why, and I told him. I said, "I'm sorry, but it makes me uncomfortable how close you are with Kim. You talk about her a lot, and she seems to be a big part of your life. And since we're not official, and I wouldn't try and tell you what to do, I'm just going to walk away because it makes me uncomfortable." He did not take that well. He said I was giving him an ultimatum and trying to force him to choose, and that I was being manipulative. I insisted that I just wasn't okay with it, and I didn't want to date someone who had that kind of relationship with someone who wasn't their girlfriend. We were not officially boyfriend and girlfriend, and I felt that I needed to break things off early before poop hit the fan. Well, I got an Uber home because I didn't want him to drive me. He was fuming. And later that evening, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. Can you guess who it was? Yep, Kim. Kim texted me a paragraph about how Beck was crazy about me, and she thinks I'm wrong for judging her when I haven't even met her, and how I hurt him and was being manipulative. I responded saying I didn't judge her at all, just that the nature of their relationship didn't sit well with me, and I wanted to end things before they got complicated. She responded saying that I need to give him another chance, and that maybe me and her should meet so that I can see that she isn't a threat, and we could even be friends. I didn't respond to her, and shortly after, his mum and my mum texted me telling me I'm overreacting. It's amassed into a much bigger deal than I thought it would be. I don't want to be with him or even try again because of how dramatic I feel that everyone is being. Guys, it's worth mentioning at this point as well, sorry to interject, but OP hasn't said throughout all of this how old they are, at least not that I can see. So I don't know how weird it is that their parents are getting involved. Nonetheless, I think it's weird anyway that you have your mum and your exes, I suppose, or anyway, Beck's mum texting you saying, "What are you doing?" Very, very strange. Anyway, let's get back into it. I've repeatedly been accused of being insecure, among other things, and I literally cannot believe that it's blown up like this. I'm not an insecure person, I just got a really bad vibe from the situation, and I didn't want to be a part of it. Am I wrong for this? Should I give him another chance? Should I talk to this girl? And there we go. That is it for the original post. Let's jump into some comments. Somebody said, and actually I agree with the first 3 words here, trust your guts. You were an adult here, stated your case, and then everyone else presumed to tell you what you should do. F them. This is not even about Kim being the main heroine in Beck's life anymore. You were standing up for yourself and clearly stating that you were uncomfortable. It's not a trick or a game. I think you did everything right here, and you should block all of these people, except your mum, and let things cool off a bit. If it comes up again, you can say that if you felt it was off before, their bullying behaviour after you made your point further reinforced that this wasn't right for you. Opie replied to this saying, I feel really bad because he was a super great guy and seemed to really like me too. I had some tough luck with relationships and I really wanted to stay with him, but she bothered me too much. A part of me wants to try, but I know it's stupid and I'll just end up getting hurt. Somebody else said, to be honest, you did the right thing. You were honest and upfront and you walked away. If anything, they're being manipulative and trying to make you engage in a relationship that you find uncomfortable. Some people may think it's stupid or rude or wrong, but at the end of the day, dating is discriminatory and you have the right to reject anyone for any reason. It's a manipulative and honestly, and I'm not sure about this word here, but they've chosen to go with the R word attitude for someone to try to make you stay and recruit their friend to try and coerce or intimidate you. So, good for you for leaving. You aren't in the wrong. Hopefully they'll leave you alone. If you need someone to chat with or vent to, feel free to send a message. I'm happy to help if I can. Opie replied to this saying, R word may be a tad overkill, but I see your point. It hurt to leave because I really, really liked him. I valued his friendship a lot, but as an SO, I knew he wouldn't last. It really annoyed me when he told her about it. Even during our conversation, she brought up things that I know I had only told him, so that leads me to believe that he'd been confiding in her about our relationship, which in a way I suppose is R-y, again R word E, because it makes me feel violated. I just can't believe it ended this way. And then finally somebody said this, you are not wrong. I'm not a jealous type, but when I see behaviours like blaming stuff on you, making you feel a certain way, I know that you've got to be careful there. Kim shouldn't have texted you. By doing that, she's giving away how she and Beck don't have any kind of healthy and normal boundaries. If you accept him and give him a chance, there's a high chance this is going to be the dynamic going forward. Every time you fight with Beck, Kim is going to intervene. Every time Beck doesn't like something about you, Kim is going to know. Every time you disagree on something with Beck, Kim is going to agree and they will let you know that. Every time anything happens between you and Beck, Kim is going to be there. I'd say a big no to this, and you are within your rights to be careful. Nobody wants drama at the start of a relationship, and the most important thing about this is the fact that he and she think that you are being manipulative when the only thing you're doing is just walking away from a relationship you already see is going to be problematic. If anything, you're being careful, and I'm sorry your mother can't see it. You are not in the wrong on this. Beck should be aware how dangerously close his friend is to him, and he has to acknowledge that that is going to be a problem with future dates. He doesn't seem to know this, and you're not going to make him understand that. If he really is crazy about you, then he should be able to listen to you instead of blaming all of this on you being insecure. I can tell you're not an insecure person, but this situation would make anyone insecure. You don't know him well yet. Of course there's going to be something to be insecure about, especially if a friend who also is his ex is that close to him. That's not normal at all. There's something there they're both not accepting. I hope this helps. If I were you though, I would still try and meet Kim so I can be 100% sure. Opie replied to this saying thank you. I really just felt so nervous about the whole thing. I kept telling myself I was overthinking it all and it was fine, but my gut told me otherwise. I only got a text by Kim. He actually never even texted me. Not until days later to ask if I'd found a new wedding date, which I have. And I told him and he never responded. Yeah, I might meet with Kim, but in a public place, and I guess I'll just listen to what she has to say. I see no point in it though, so I'm undecided. Okay, very interesting start to this one, and I completely agree with the majority of what the comments are saying here, which is you have to trust your gut in this situation. The main point being, as somebody said in the comments down below there, you can't have problems coming about just 2 weeks into a relationship and sort of ignore them already. Like, if there are already issues that short into seeing somebody, I know you're not official, but you know, you've been dating for 2 weeks and you've had, 4 dates, and there's already this big red flag, and it is a big red flag in my opinion. I mean, you guys get your comments in down below. What do you think? I think you've got to trust your gut on that and just say, you know what, the fact that this has already come about just 4 dates in, yeah, that means there's probably going to be a lot more sort of hardship, I presume, down the line. I mean, it's safe to assume that if there's an issue already, it's only going to get worse, right? And yeah, I can tell you from personal experience, I've kind of had this situation a little bit before. It wasn't as drastic as this, and the girl's best friend wasn't a guy. It was just a guy that she was very close with. This is going back a little bit. But it still annoyed me. And I'm the same as you, OP, I think. Like, I'm not an insecure person, but as that commenter said, you know, if you are in this sort of circumstance, it would make anyone insecure. And I remember being a bit like, oh, this is annoying. Like, I didn't really care. It was just annoying knowing that this girl that I was with was still very good friends with one of her exes. And this is the thing. It's not ideal. Like, don't get me wrong, you're allowed to be friends with your ex. It's just not ideal for a new partner, is it? Let's be honest. When you're coming into this situation and you're meeting someone, I know you've not even met yet, but, you know, like, your best friend or their best friend is their ex. And they're confiding everything about their new relationship with you in them. Yeah, that's actually pretty disgusting, to be honest. And it's weird that they don't see the problem with that. But of course, this is r/best of Redditor updates. And just a day or so later, actually, after the original post, we got this. Firstly, wow, this post blew up on me more than my family did. So thank you guys. Now for the update. I did not respond to Kim, but I instead explained things to my mum, and she sided with me completely. She told me that Beck had called his mum, who was a former coach of mine, and told her that I yelled at him and tried to manipulate him because I was feeling insecure. He said that I broke up with him when he wouldn't do as I said, and she presumably contacted my mum afterwards. Again, I don't know how old these people are, but it doesn't really matter. If a girl breaks up with you and you call your mum saying, oh my God, this girl manipulated me, like lying, by the way. I mean, if it's serious, it's serious. But, oh my God, this girl manipulated me and broke up with me just because she's insecure. Can you call her mum and tell her that she shouldn't do that? What a loser you are. As you will see from my post, OP continues, this was not true. I told my mum this and described the situation. And also, sorry, I can't just let your mum off like this, OP. Like, she was also saying, are you sure? Are you not made a mistake here? Why wouldn't she ask you first what's going on rather than jumping to conclusions? Anyway, let's carry on. She understood how I felt and why I left him, finally, and said that he sounded like an idiot, and she was happy I didn't bring him to my brother's party for his wedding. I blocked Kim's number and did my best to gently explain to his mum what really had happened, understanding the whole time she'd probably believe her son over me. But surprisingly, she didn't. She did say that he genuinely cared about me, and evidently I was a hot topic of conversation for a while before all of this, said he was crazy about me, and was excited to see where our relationship would go. While she admitted her son was immature at times, he meant well. She was very nice about all of this, so I really appreciated that. I also just don't get, guys, and I know I'm interjecting a lot here, but this has been 4 dates. Why is everyone involved? Like, why are mums and families all involved in this? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't have that sort of relationship with my parents, but I'm not telling them every time I go on a date, or like how an individual date has gone, or my progress, or like, oh, I'm going on a 4th date now. Do you want to call their mum? Like, it's just a bit weird. I don't know. Maybe they're family friends, but it's just strange. OP says, I was genuine and understanding. I said that while I understood, I couldn't just ignore the red flags presented to me. And since nothing has changed other than him trying to have other people convince me it's fine, well, then I made the right decision. She said she understood, and that was the end of it. With her, at least. Again, like, sorry, I know I'm interjecting a lot here, but imagine I went on 4 dates with a girl, then said to her afterwards, look, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about this, but you know, you're great. I'm just got a few concerns, but you know, it's been nice to meet you. Then her mum calls me and says, what are you doing? Why are you breaking up with my daughter? She's crazy about you. And then I have to explain myself to her? What? Okay, I promise I won't interject again. The worst with Kim did not end until I almost had to quit my DoorDash job. It's not with DoorDash, but for the sake of anonymity. I primarily deliver to elderly or families with children. But as I was unloading groceries out front of a house who had only ordered bread, cheese and bacon, I was a little confused, but mostly just horrified when I realised who it was. Kim had ordered from my line and gotten me to deliver to her house. She somehow found out I was working in her area. I didn't know it was her area, and I guess she did her best to get a hold of me. So yeah, I met her. Not by choice, but I did. She ordered from her mother's name, I'm guessing, because it wasn't a Kim who had ordered. She immediately began questioning me about if I was still talking to Beck, if we were going to get back together, if I'd gotten over myself yet. However, her expression told me she already knew, but was just trying to annoy me in every way possible. Just in general, being an absolute female dog. I was polite at first until she asked me about getting over myself, to which I said, off of Reddit's advice actually, so it really is your guys' fault, if she'd gotten over the fact that her boyfriend got dumped. She didn't take that well, and didn't take the bag of bacon that I was trying to give her. Fine by me, because legally, if a customer declines a product you bring them, you refund them and keep whatever it is, since you usually can't return a food item. So I'm eating some crispy, yummy freedom bacon as I type. I left, and it's been pretty quiet. I have a new date to my brother's wedding party thing, and he is definitely just a friend, but Beck and Kim don't know that, so I'm going to be posting lots of pictures and dancing with him all night. We've both planned on this, by the way, and he knows everything, so it's even funnier that way. Beck has been stalking my social media, unliking and then liking posts. He even reported a picture of mine that had me and another male in it. He'll probably be like this for a little while longer and then drop everything, but it's kind of funny to watch. I'm moving on, and overall, I'm single and happy. Thank you for the advice, Reddit. Appreciate you guys. And one final comment from somebody who said, I just want to say, you should block Beck. The fact that he's telling lies and having other people confront you and low-key stalking you on social media is a red flag. That kind of stuff can easily inflate into something much bigger. Rejection is a big thing for potential stalkers. Take care of yourself, girl. You did the right thing. Oprah replied saying that I've unadded him on everything. I genuinely think if I go as far as blocking him, it would just blow up again. I don't want to give him any more ideas. Well, there we go, guys. I think the moral of this one is that you have to trust your gut, because you're obviously 100% right, and the comments were right as well. Like, there were red flags after 2 weeks. Therefore, as we've seen here, there were going to be so many more issues down the line. I mean, you didn't even know about this stuff. You didn't know the personality, I presume, that Beck had here, I guess, at least in a relationship. But it's clear that he would have been an awful person to be, you know, the girlfriend of or be in a relationship with. Like, the sort of stalkerish vibes, the fact that he's, like, sort of stalking you on social media, just being really, really weird, getting other people to talk to you and confront you. Yeah. If anything, I'd go as far to say that you definitely dodged a bullet with this one. And I repeat, trust your gut. Your gut is often right, if not always right. Sometimes it's hard to do, because sometimes you're like, it doesn't feel right, but in theory, this should work. Like, let's be logical. This should be fine. And this is something that I do quite a lot as a relatively logical person. I like to sort of work through things in my mind and come to a sort of like more logical conclusion rather than, oh, I feel this way, therefore I'll do that. But when it comes to something like a relationship, I think your gut has to be number one. You've got to listen to your gut and your heart, and that will almost all the time, I think, lead you down the right path. What it seems to me, though, is that Kim and Beck are made for each other, right? Two really weird, confrontational, creepy individuals that stalk you online. Hey, why are they wasting so much time getting other people like you involved? Maybe they're into threesomes. I don't know. It seems weird. They should just be together. Like, why are they messing about? You're made for each other, guys. Just go have fun. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Really hope you enjoyed it. As always, get your comments in down below. I love going through your guys' thoughts, and you know, it gives me a sort of something else to bounce off of, right? Because it's a little bit of an echo chamber when I record this myself. And sometimes I say things and I listen to it back and I'm like, actually, do I agree with that? Have I said the right thing there? And you guys will correct me or just give your thoughts in the comments down below. So please make sure you do that. If you want another story just like this, very similar, some more relationship drama, that's on screen right there. If you're new to the channel, subscribe or hit the follow button on whatever platform you are on, and I'll catch you tomorrow with some more crazy Reddit content.